Welcome back to another episode of Elaborations with Skellington Grin. I'm your host, Ava, and today we are diving into something really fundamental to understanding the balance of polarity within ourselves and within our relationships. If you remember, a couple of weeks ago, we did a separate dive into the energy of divine masculine and divine feminine. And today, we are going all in on understanding how we can balance both energies within ourselves and therefore become more receptive to receiving that energy in relationships, whether that is platonic relationships or especially in romantic relationships. So, this episode is for the version of you who is tired of performing, who is craving something deeper, not just in love, but in the way that you live, move, and exist within yourself. We are talking about sacred polarity, surrender, devotion, structure, sensuality, submissiveness, all of it. Now, before we dive even further, I know that this can sound a little woo-woo at first glance, like something you may only hear on a spiritual retreat or in a goddess circle under a full moon. But this is real stuff. And this is about how to hold yourself and how you hold yourself, how you lead, how you receive, and ultimately how you love. And once you understand the polarity between divine masculine and divine feminine and how to hold both energies within yourself, you will learn better how you actually love, what your love language is, what your dominant love languages are, how you express love versus how you receive love, and how you operate in the world. And you may listen to this episode and find that you tend to operate with more of a masculine energy or more of a feminine energy. And I will say this too. I want to add this disclaimer. You do not have to be female to operate with feminine energy or align with feminine energy. You do not have to be a man to operate or align with masculine energy. You can be non-binary and understand that you have more of a feminine lean, but you do operate with some masculine traits and masculine aspects. And the same thing for people who are male, female, whatever your gender identity is. Masculine and feminine energy does not equate to just your gender expression alone. It equates to the hemispheres of your brain and the way in which you tune into your emotions versus your leadership tendencies and so much more. It is about how you lean more on logic and pragmatism versus emotions and so on and so forth. So, in this episode, we are going to peel back the layers, deconstruct the BS that we were taught, and drop into something way more powerful than performance. Because this is about embodiment, alignment, and alchemy. So let's get cozy and let's talk. And if you're in the middle of your day listening to this, I hope that you can find a quiet place to listen to this while you're on your lunch break. I hope that if you are driving, you are still paying attention. And if you are listening to this in the comfort of your own home at the end of the day, I hope that you can maybe make yourself a mug of tea and get yourself some nice dinner and settle in. And feel free to grab a notebook if you would like to take notes, because you may want to. So let's start with this part. Part number 1. Submission is not weakness. Sacred submission is not weakness. It is a choice. And I want you to hear me loud and clear. We have been taught that allowing someone to lead, letting someone hold us, means that we are fragile, dependent, or incapable of taking care of ourselves. And that couldn't be further from the truth. Sacred submission is one of the most powerful things that you can offer, but only when it is chosen from a place of trust and self-respect. And sacred submission comes from that feminine energy, that energy that wants to soften, that energy that wants to open up and to be more receptive, that energy that wants to be guided and also taken care of, that energy that wants to be provided for. It is not about giving your power away. It is about knowing your power so well that you can soften without crumbling, and you can lean in without losing yourself. You can say to another person, I trust you with this, and I trust you to lead me and guide me and to provide for me, and still know exactly who you are. That is not weakness, that is courage. And I have lived it. I have felt the fear of letting go, the tension of trying to control every outcome, because surrender once meant danger. But sacred submission, conscious consensual surrender to the environment, to another person, has taught me intimacy in a way that striving for perfection never could. It's taught me that I don't always have to grip the steering wheel of life. And sometimes the most healing thing that I can do is exhale and allow someone, anyone, to meet me exactly where I'm at, whether that is friends, clients, family members, my romantic partner, or life in general. Part number 2, reclaiming the divine feminine, messy, sensual, and whole. So, what is real feminine energy? Not the watered down Stepford wife version that they sold us in rom coms and magazine ads, and that they continue to sell us to say, this is what femininity looks like. This is how femininity should look. This is how you should dress, how you should act, how you should operate, etc., etc. I am talking wild. I am talking fertile, and not just in the sense of being able to get pregnant and have babies, but fertile with creation, fertile with abundance. I am talking unapologetically sensual, emotional, intuitive, creative energy. I am talking unapologetically erotic, even. Because the divine feminine isn't just soft, she is fierce. She doesn't just whisper sweet nothings. She births worlds. She feels deeply, creates effortlessly, and doesn't need to beg for space because she is space. She is the energy. She is the moment, the movement, the icon, the legend. She is everything. She can be nurturing, but she also is powerful. And for a long time, I resisted that deeper, darker feminine energy within myself, the wild, untamed, free spirited energy. And free spirited doesn't just mean that you're just throwing caution to the wind. No, free spirited also means that you are receptive to the world around you and to your own creative energy. But I was taught that being desirable meant shrinking myself, that being emotional meant being too much, that being sensual meant being unsafe or asking for it. And unlearning that has taken so much time, intention, and effort, and a lot of inner fire. But reclaiming my feminine energy has meant dancing in the kitchen, music loud, hips rolling, and not giving a damn who is watching. It is meant letting myself cry and laugh and flirt and dream all in the same breath. It has meant dressing for me, not to impress, not to seduce, but to embody who I actually am. Whether that is dressing in yoga pants and a shirt one day while I'm sitting here recording a podcast episode, or the next day I decide to dress in something flowy and flouncy and pretty and whimsigoth. Or The next day, I decide I want to wear all red and I want to show a little bit of skin and I want to do some seductive makeup and I want to feel like a baddie. This is your reminder that you can be all of that. You don't have to earn softness, and you certainly don't have to apologize for being magnetic or sensual or sacred. You are sacred just by existing. And when you stop waiting for someone else to validate that, it is game over because you have won. Part number 3, making peace with your inner masculine. So here is where we're going to flip it a little bit because divine masculine energy is never the villain. It is not toxic by nature. It is not just about machismo and being strong and never crying and never breaking and being number one and always being a leader. It is not about domination or stoicism. And even when the divine masculine dominates, he dominates with care, not with control. At its highest frequency, the masculine is presence, purpose, structure, and direction. He is the calm before the storm. He is the calm in the storm. And a lot of us, especially women and female or feminine leaning people, and even non binary people or men, have been in our masculine energy by way of survival. We have learned that masculine energy expects us to hustle, to do, to prove ourselves. We are always on, always giving, and rarely receiving. And we are on 24/7. We are readily available even when we need moments of rest. And while that energy can get things done, it can also be exhausting if you never allow yourself to rest. It can be so exhausting and excruciating to always be available for everyone else's needs and to deny your own. And I had to learn that myself, that I could still be in my feminine energy and have goals. I can still desire devotion and hold boundaries. I didn't have to be the one managing every detail or holding it together in order to be worthy of love. I could be that balance of both. Now, when someone steps into their divine masculine with me, and when they offer structure, presence, and safety, I don't feel threatened. I feel seen and met and held where I'm at because I have already built up that inner masculine within myself and learned to earn my own trust so that their leadership doesn't dominate me, it complements me. And I have learned how to complement the other person. And let's be clear. Again, this isn't about gender roles. This is about energetics. This is about natural energy that is already existing in the universe. This is about the polarity of the universe. And when you allow your inner masculine to support your inner feminine, you don't lose power. You anchor into it. Part 4, sacred devotion and the love that sees you whole. So let's bring all of this home. What we are really craving and what I believe that we all want is to be seen and acknowledged fully, not just as this curated version of ourselves that we share on highlight reels on Instagram and Facebook, not just the sexy, confident, got it together version. We want someone to see our chaos and say, yes, I am still here, especially when it comes to romantic connections. And I have finally reached a place in my life where I am not begging for breadcrumbs. I am not watering myself down to be palatable to anyone, whether it is clients, my lover, my family members, my friends. I even tell people that I am not this fake, curated, nice person, but I am kind, I am loving, I am respectful, I am thoughtful, I am giving. I am holding space for the kinds of connections that honor both my softness and my fire. Whether it is with someone returning or with someone entirely new, whether that is reaching out to an old friend and repairing the connection, or opening the doors for new friendships and new connections, And even more recently, opening the door to a new romantic connection about a month and a half ago. I trust the divine orchestration of all of it. I don't chase. I attract what is aligned and I embody the energy that I wish to receive. And I want to encourage you to do the same. Because when you stop settling for half-heartedness and you stop performing and stop contorting yourself into something easier to love, you realize that you are worthy of sacred devotion. You are worthy of love that meets you where you are and holds out their hands and says, "More, please." And if no one has told you lately, you do not have to shrink to be held. You do not have to go numb to be safe. You do not have to overfunction to earn love. And you do not have to be strong without crying. Emotion is not weakness. It is actually your power. And being able to release that emotion helps you to be able to regulate. And you are allowed to show up in your fullness. Whether that is leaning more into your feminine, leaning more into your masculine, or combining both in the most messy, magnetic, all of it version of yourself. And you can be chosen right there. And that is where I will leave you for today. So if this episode stirred something within you and it cracked you open or made you feel a little more whole, I would love to hear about it. You can find me on Instagram at Skellington Grin Creatrix, which I will be linking in the description box. I will link my link tree where you can find all of my links to my Instagram, my YouTube, my writings on vocal media, and so much more. And as always, my DMs are always open. And if you want to go deeper into this work, whether it is through coaching, tarot, or just sharing space, I am always happy to hear you reach out. And remember, we are not here to fix ourselves. We are here to remember ourselves, to embody, to integrate, to lead, to soften, to receive, and to hold. And most of all, to love without leaving any part of ourselves behind. Remember that you are sacred, you are powerful, and you are worthy. Until next time, keep dancing in the duality and remember that you are loved. Stay strong, stay sovereign, stay sacred, stay serene, stay spooky, stay all of it. And remember to be your full self.